On December the 31st, this is how many in urban India like to welcome the new year. The Western commercial monoculture is designed to expand. And gradually, this is becoming the new normal urban India. Pubs, parties, music and dance. But there is something about this Western monoculture. It can't run without alcohol. After all, alcohol is a big part of the mainstream Western culture, even though it is well documented that alcohol intake coincides with child abuse, domestic violence, FASD, an uptick in crimes, and hurts the economy and an individual's health in multiple ways. Numerous studies have scientifically connected alcohol to all of these serious issues. But it is a free world and Indians should also be free to adopt any legal practice that they want to. But are Indians adopting these foreign practices after a proper intellectual examination, or is it a trend which is rooted in the blind imitation of anything that comes from the West? When a drug is socially acceptable, people are more likely to use it and pressure others to use it too. Non-drinkers can be reluctant to disclose their non-drinking status in order to be accepted by friends and colleagues. This explains why many Indians who settle in the Western nations start drinking alcohol even when back in India they never did so. The same has also started to happen in urban India, however it is still in its initial stage. Globally, developed nations have the highest rates of alcohol use. But why is alcohol such a big part of the Western societies? There are four main reasons why people drink: to be social, to create a positive mood, to cope, or to conform. And drinking patterns differ across the world, shaped by the local context of where people live, including local laws, regulations, and policies related to alcohol, history, cultural and religious beliefs and attitudes, and the social determinants of health. In addition, major political, economic and social events can influence a country's drinking pattern. A closer look at this certainly shows some of the multiple vicious cycles that the Western societies have found themselves stuck in. In Western societies, drinking often leads to sex. Sex may lead to a relationship. It is natural that people seek relationships. Alcohol plays a role there too. Also, it is worth noting that obesity can lead to depression, and depression can lead to alcohol. In the Western nations, it has been found that obesity in many girls is actually their defense mechanism to avoid sexual abuse. On many occasions, girls overeat and gain weight in order to become unattractive so that they can avoid the threat of sexual abuse or harassment. So, sexual abuse can lead to obesity. Obesity can lead to depression. Depression can lead to alcohol, and then alcohol can lead to sexual abuse again. Isn't it a type of a vicious cycle? The situation becomes nearly irreversible when mind-altering drugs become socially acceptable. This is something that has already happened in the West and is now slowly starting in developing nations like India. In the West, normalization of such behavior has reached an extent that often parents, guardians and other family members are the source of alcohol for underage drinkers. The alcohol culture in the West is rooted in the home. An American survey revealed that 54% of current underage drinkers reported family and friends as their source for the alcohol they consumed. In 2012, it was found that more than 10% of American children live with a parent who has alcohol problems. Underage drinking has serious consequences and is responsible for risky behavior. This includes drug overdose, sexually transmitted infections, unplanned pregnancy, unprotected or unwanted sex, impaired driving, and aggression. In addition, it has also been found that 40% of those who initiate drinking under the age of 15 end up getting diagnosed as alcohol dependent at some point in their lives. These points clearly indicate that in the Western nations an alcohol-based vicious cycle has formed. In other words, after causing various damages that include sex crimes, alcohol leads to alcohol again. And of course, we can't afford to ignore the dangerous consequences that fetal alcohol spectrum disorders present, something that the Western nations are already suffering from. I have highlighted this in a previous episode that you may want to watch. A typical traditional Indian family is generally very critical of alcohol. From a rational point of view, it makes a lot of sense. No, it is not moral policing. It is actually a scientific consultation which can empower our youngsters so that they are well informed before they make their own independent decisions. Even in America, the Indian community is in the group with the lowest usage of illicit drugs and alcohol. As Western commercial monoculture is gradually taking over India, with pubs and discotheques popping up like mushrooms, one must ask where India might end up if it continues getting Americanized blindly. It is worth keeping in mind that in per capita alcohol consumption, India is still far behind the Western nations. But this commercial opportunity has not gone unnoticed by the global alcohol companies, and it should come as no surprise that today, India has become one of the fastest growing alcohol markets in the world. Between 2010 and 2017, India's per annum alcohol intake increased by 38%. India's changing urban environment and its alcohol consumption patterns are playing a key role in this sensational growth. IOGT International has called this a harmful trend, as records from India's capital's leading hospitals suggest that 20% of fresh cases reported in the outpatients department and emergency sections are caused by consumption of alcohol. It can even be said that when it comes to things like punctuality, professionalism, cleanliness, and cutting-edge innovations, Indians are nowhere close to their Western counterparts and show no great progress in adopting the good characteristics from the West. But when it comes to adopting and imitating the things which have hurt the Western societies, unfortunately, many Indians do appear to be performing better than anyone could imagine. On the other hand, somehow the West has not let itself be influenced from the bad sides of India. Instead, it has adopted the best that India offers, whether it is yoga or natural medicine. Shouldn't we all do a little bit of self-introspection? Hi, my name is Karolina Goswami. It is worth mentioning to our viewers that such type of data-driven and research-based episodes require a lot of effort, as accurate compilation of statistics is very time-consuming and expensive. Please come forward and support our work financially. See you again.